Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another video. Today we are taking a look at the Omnidesk Ascent. This is their latest desk that was released in the late 2021 and it's their flagship model for the 2022 line of tables. This new table has a couple of great features, including a new app connectivity which allows greater control and more customization, a new and improved assembly process that makes it easier for anyone to set this table up, as well as enhanced motors that are quieter and faster. Now, before we begin, a big thank you to Omnidesk for sponsoring this table for this review. I'll leave all the product links in the descriptions below. So let's just start off by talking about why standing desks are so popular nowadays. Now, standing desks aren't just for you to stand and sit in different postures while you're working, it's also great for you to adjust to the right height for you to sit at. Now, I've used my Omnidesk for the past 3 years and I've not regretted it. I've really enjoyed the ability to customize the height of my table and it's been really reliable so far and I've not gotten any issues from it. Now, I did a previous video about the Omnidesk 2020 and I did my whole assembly process for you guys to see, but there has been a lot of improvements and we're going to take a look at it today. So let's just start off with the unboxing and assembly of this desk. Now, first of all, Omnidesk will deliver about 3 to 4 different packages depending on your order. Inside these packages will contain the tabletop, the leg assembly, as well as a cable management bar. There are also additional accessories that you can add on to your package, such as casters, which allows you to move your tables around more easily. Now, first off, let's unbox and unpack the frame and the legs of the table. Inside, you'll find a control box. This will house the main circuit board and all the controls for this table. You'll also find some connection cables, the controller, and a power cable. Along with that, several packets of screws and of course some tools to help you set up this table. You'll also get an assembly guide, as well as 2 brackets, 3 magnetic cable trays, the leg column and center frame, as well as 2 table feet. Now, assembling this for the first time, one of the big improvements that Omnidesk has made was making the assembly of the frame and table legs a lot simpler. They firstly made the center frame and the leg in one continuous piece, which is secured in place with this locking mechanism. However, this locking mechanism also helps to lock in the side brackets, so you need to add in the side brackets before locking everything in place. Now, if you looked at my first video, you'll find that it takes about 3 extra steps for the old version of this table to be assembled, whereas this snap-on mechanism really helps to speed up the whole assembly process and make it easier for anyone to assemble this on your own. So once the side brackets and the legs are secured, you can then start to screw on the 2 table feet. Once the whole frame is assembled, you can move it aside and you can unpack the tabletop. Now, as always, I would suggest that you leave a bit of the foam from the packaging so that it protects the surface of your table while it's lying on the ground. Next up, you'll move the assembled table frame onto the tabletop, aligning it with the many pre-drilled screw holes. You'll then have to follow the instructions on the manuals to know which screw fits into which holes. Now, at this point, most of the table is already assembled except for the electrical components. The first thing you'll want to do is install the controller box by sliding it into the bracket. Once that is in place, you can connect the cables from the motors on the legs. You'll also need to attach the controller to this controller box. One of the last things that you need to do, of course, is to position the controller either on the left or the right side of the table. That's totally up to your preference, but I do want to share a tip on attaching these controllers on the underside of your table. Usually, I would prefer not to have the controller sticking too far out of the table edge and kind of move it in a bit so it's a bit safer and you won't bump on it as much. Once all that is done, you might need a friend to help you flip the table over. It is important that you flip it onto the back side edge of the table instead of the front to prevent the controller from being damaged. After all that is done, you can plug it into a power source and the setup of your Omnidesk is complete. Now, most of you might be familiar with what this table can do, so let's just talk about what are the main differences between the older models and the newer ones. For example, the latest feature is the app connectivity, which allows you to customize and control a lot more. First of all, you can control the height of your desk wirelessly without touching the controls. Now, this might be something that's pretty fun to do, especially if you're like me and you're filming the table, you can automatically control it using the app. On top of that, you can also save a lot more presets into the app as compared to the controller on the table, which only has 4 preset buttons. Now, the app also encourages you to stand up a lot more often, so they've created a goal setting option for you in the app. for you to properly monitor your standing goals. Now, apart from that, there's also a couple of other things you can do with the app, including adjusting the sensitivity of the anti-collision settings. You can also adjust the limits of your desk height to keep it within a certain raised height or lowered height to prevent it from colliding with anything that you might have on your walls or along the side of your table. Now, one of the other cool things that you can do on the app is control the LED lights on the control panel. You can adjust the brightness of the LEDs as well as the different color schemes. Now, of course, there are many other things that you can do with the app, but I'm not going to get too much into it. But let's just talk about the whole system in general and a summary of this table. Now, I feel that companies like Omnidesk have gone through great deals to improve their tables, not just sticking with the original assembly process, but to improve it for the customers. Now, I think this is something that's really good to highlight because they didn't need to make the assembly process easier for you. Those were just a couple more extra steps, but they put in the research and engineering into creating a more integrated system and easier to build system just for the sake of their customers, and I really appreciate that. The other thing is that they've gone on to improve their motors, not just sticking with regular motors, but finding a way to improve the speed as well as improve the quietness of these motors. The last thing is, of course, the anti-collision features on these new tables. My old table didn't really have this anti-collision features, and I think it's really important. It's about safety when you have these mechanically moving furniture. The last thing that you want to have happen to your table is for it to clash or collide with any of your other surrounding furniture or your table, chairs, or any computer parts that might be underneath your desk. So once again, a big thank you to Omnidesk for sending me this table. It's going to be really fun to use this and also explore the app, knowing that you can set some alerts to make sure you stand enough throughout the day and keep you moving and keep your posture a bit more flexible and overall give you a better posture. So if you guys have any other questions, do leave it in the comments below. I'll try my best to answer them. If not, head over to the Omnidesk website to check out these products and any of the other specs. I hope this video has been informative and helpful for you guys. If you guys like this video, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.